Welcome to US Tzu Chi 360. I'm Ginger Chang. Our feature today continues on Tzu Chi's international relief missions. Tzu Chi's first ever disaster relief mission began in 1991 when volunteers provided aid for flood victims of Bangladesh. Now, after 2 decades, the Foundation's global aid spans across 5 continents. We're fortunate to have Crystal Chiu to speak to us about her experiences delivering aid subsidies to the poor population in China. Welcome, Ms. Chiu. I'm curious to first find out, how did you get involved?
Because I was born in a very poor family. I'm the 8th of 11 children. My parents were so poor, even have no food to eat. So when I want to go to the junior high school, my mother has to borrow the money because of my tuition. Although it's only 320, equal to 10 US dollars, but she has to borrow from 30 to 40 neighbors. So during that time, I made a wish. If I have money, I want to go to help the poor people in the future.
Then can you tell us about your first time?
Yes, the first time I went to the Jiangxi province. That's so far. It takes 10 hours by car, 1 hour by boat, and 1 hour climbing mountains. It's the mountain area. They have no clothes. The clothes is very thin, and the body were shaking. So I feel so pity of them.
Well, there is a first time for everything, and for our director, it was his first time to venture south of the US border over into Mexico to capture the charitable work Tzu Chi volunteers have been doing to help the people in the city of Leon.
A lifelike bronze lion stands steadfast in a grand road of Arco de la Calzada, next to a centuries-old Gothic church. In stark contrast, thus clouds the sky of lonesome slum La Jolla, located in Leon. In the 7th largest city in Mexico, many are silently praying for the light of hope in dark corners. Local volunteers led by Lazar Zhang and Sam Chen from Tzu Chi's headquarters of America head towards the distribution center at 8 a.m., getting ready for the annual winter distribution before Christmas. This time, the distribution recipients are a group of senior citizens, all older than 65 years old, and each of them will receive 15 pounds of daily necessities.
This is 1.5 kilograms of white rice, 1.5 kilograms of soybeans, 2 packets of pasta, 2 packets of vermicelli, 2 packets of noodles, 1 bottle of oil, and 1 bag of sugar. They all weigh a total of 15 pounds.
Although there were few volunteers who come to help package the goods, everyone worked seamlessly together, efficiently put these daily necessities one by one into Tzu Chi's reusable grocery bags. Volunteer Lazar Chang gradually gathered local volunteers in Mexico, inviting more of them to come join Tzu Chi.
This time, we brought 150 bags of necessities to distribute to senior citizens above 65 years old, as well as the poor and the sick in La Jolla Village, Leon City. Our volunteers are joyful to show our love, bringing the elders a warm winter in this cold season.
We take the goods to the front, and when the truck comes at 12 o'clock, we will load these bags in.
Volunteer Alberto Zai, a resident in Leon for more than 15 years, coordinated this distribution. Right before noon, the truck arrives at the distribution center. Mexican volunteers and Tzu Chi volunteers Wu Shu Ching and Zhong Rongxing, who traveled a long way from Mexico City, formed a fireman's line in a quick manner, loaded the truck with all the goods. All the volunteers had a joyous smile on their faces because they know this distribution will bring a joyful holiday season for these poverty-stricken families. Once the goods have been loaded, volunteer Alberto, who speaks fluent Spanish, carefully confirmed the location and route of the truck. Any mistakes in the logistics will delay the distribution.
Could I speak to Senora Lydia? We're on our way. We'll arrive there in 30 to 45 minutes.
The trip from the distribution center in the city of Leon to the distributing point in Immaculada Concepcion Church of La Jolla takes only 30 to 40 minutes by car, but the road is very bumpy and seems like a perilous journey.
The area that we are going to distribute tomorrow is called La Jolla. It is a district currently known to be the hub of drug deals, where the highest population of drug dealers, thieves, and other criminals reside. In this district, everyone fences themselves off by building houses of brick and aluminum roofs. It is also a blind spot for national security. In fact, we had long conversations with the local priests. The local residents chose the path of drug dealership and crime because there were little opportunities and they had very little education. They had to work on their labor with no steady income. In time, more and more turned to this path of drug dealing and crime, causing the social issues in this district. Usually, cars can't reach the distribution location because the base of the car is too low. They get stuck. We need vehicles with a taller base. This here looks a lot more like the countryside. We did a hot food distribution last time with a pot of rice milk. Our 80% filled pot was emptied to 70%. We spent more money cleaning our car than the rice milk. This district over there is where the government is constructing the apartments for citizens. It's only a few hundred meters from here, but the living condition is extremely different. 5 more minutes and we'll arrive at our destination. The condition that they have here is very different from ours. There's still cows here. Every time I think of this, I can't help but be thankful. We are really blessed.
A mere 30-minute car ride from the city, La Jolla district is surrounded with bone-skinny cows, shabby aluminum houses, and poverty-stricken residents. And the government-funded apartments that's currently under construction in the distance is an unreachable dream for the residents in La Jolla, who even have difficulties finding their next meal. When the truck reached the Baptist church, the volunteers in the church came out to help move the goods into the church and started setting up the distribution site. Apart from preparing the site for distribution, the logistics of the distribution and the flow of the crowd are also key agendas to ensure that the distribution goes smoothly.
这样看速度会比较快。无啦，无啦，讲话想要用尔，其他就无用啊啦。座位还是这样留。
Keep the seating the same, because when it gets crowded, it'll be harder for the elderly to sit.
我们分2组。
We split everyone into 2 teams, 4 in each team, 2 of our volunteers and 2 local volunteers. We need to register their numbers and collect their pickup forms. Along this walkway, we assign 2 volunteers to remind the residents about this step here in case they trip. The senior citizens, we would invite them to take a seat. We're not planning to set up chairs at the back. We estimate the whole distribution to take about 90 minutes in total.
Carefully rehearsed and planned, Tzu Chi volunteers are trying to smooth out the process and make tomorrow's distribution as efficient as possible.
This year also marks the 20th anniversary of Tzu Chi's charity in China. However, it's been a bumpy road. So, Ms. Chiu, can you tell us some difficulties you've encountered?
Yes, the most difficult part is how to communicate with the government officials, because we have to give the blanket and the rice directly to the people, but they always ask us to give them first, then they distribute to the other peoples.
Okay, well, speaking of encountering setbacks, in our next segment, our volunteers were delayed at first, but it didn't discourage them from launching the aid distribution for the community of Las Joyas.
In the city of Leon, the bright rays of sunshine started the day for Tzu Chi volunteers.
欢迎来帮忙啊！ 没有职工服的，赶快穿上去。
If you don't have your uniform on, put them on quickly.
第一个扣子我们把它扣起来。
Make sure you button the first button of the shirt, please.
那个 Cisco 还没到哈。
Cisco's not here yet. The first car will be led by Lu Mingde.
那个什么芳姐，
Sister Fang, take the second car.
我需要2位西班牙语哦。
I need 2 Spanish translators to work with them.
他们配合，我们36、37还有师兄在车上，但是我们是要去帮助他们。
We're going to help them, but you have to watch out for your own safety. Don't walk around alone. If you walk away and get abducted, we can't find you. It's very dangerous. One goes with you, one goes with you. You need to work together because you don't know how it is there.
Because it's La Jolla, volunteer Alberto sternly emphasized all the things to watch out for in case of any emergency. In fact, the volunteer who is preparing the hot meals had encountered an unexpected delay.
终于到了啊！新瓜皮抱歉。上车了，我们要准备出发了。
The crew gets onto the vehicles as soon as they see the volunteer arrives.
3。
Because the volunteers who show up today are way more than the registered numbers, it is a challenge for Alberto how to make sure all the cars are following closely together.
这个尾啊，这个尾啊面神呀，我也是有点么？来，大口跟上。几点开始发吧？10点。
10 o'clock. That's why we had to depart at 9, so we can get there by 9:30.
8点半、9点就。
We have to get on the road by 8:30, 9 a.m. as soon as everyone gets there, or we won't be able to make it.
让我休点。
The shops along the street are rolling up the gates, getting ready for the business. The huge crew of 38 people, 8 cars, with volunteer Alberto commanding in the end, starts their journey towards the district of La Jolla.
几点？
The scheduled time for arrival has passed. Nervousness is shown on Alberto's face. As the car speeds away from the city, the scenery of the houses along the roads is changed significantly. After entering La Jolla, the dust on the rocky roads fly to the sky as the cars drive along. Because it is beyond the scheduled time, the crowds are gathering outside the church, waiting. Inevitably, some of the rice milk have spilled. The volunteers gather the crew and enter the distribution site right away. Following local customs, Volunteer Lazar leads the volunteers for a prayer to the Virgin Mary. The crowds outside the Immaculata Concepcion Church remain calm and peaceful. Facing the sudden increased number of volunteers, Alberto splits everyone into groups and assigns tasks to everyone. With the past experience of out-of-control crowds during distribution, this time, Tzu Chi volunteers inform the church volunteers to register the recipient's information prior to the distribution. After verifying the information, the recipients are given cards with numbers. The volunteers lead the elders to the registration desk and assist them into the waiting area after the registration. Not only distributing the daily necessities, the volunteers take this opportunity to give love and care to all the residents in La Jolla.
第五只在旁边等一下 ，OK， 呀，来，这边一个人这样带出去，好不好？最好你去掌控啊，小雨，好，就是。
The volunteers interact sincerely with all the senior citizens.
你要背几条？
一条两个几条？
各一条，这条那个
关怀很快，3次，
再一次
就开始，要不然要结束就让音控就停下来就开始。
Even the father of the church feels the effort and loving care from Tzu Chi.
You guys have brought a lot of love, and we as Christians, and I as a priest, that's why we've been cherished every day. And you guys work it more closely. All of our brothers can feel love.
Thank you very much.
And we also show as much love as possible through our foundation, because this is what we are looking for. Thank you, and we are going to respond with our prayer to make your compassion stronger.
With a sincere bow, Tzu Chi volunteers hand the necessities over to the hands of the elders. Deeply touched, one of the elders surprisingly kisses the volunteer, just to show how much she's touched with the gratitude.
I'm glad to see noble people like you to take this position to come here with all the brothers and sisters. I feel that life is hard, especially looking at the elderly people. It's very nice to see that you're helping them. I am blessed because we all have a house, a roof over our heads, but they don't.
Tzu Chi spreads the seeds of kindness in Mexico, which will steadily grow with endless care and love.
Welcome back. So, Ms. Chiu, how do you think your experiences has impacted your life afterwards?
I changed my concept a lot. Before, I spend money as much as I can. But now I got a more simple life to save the money to help the poor people. Secondly, the meaning of success for me is different. Now I think how many people I can help. Yeah.
Then lastly, your son Peter, who's been on our show, watched you dedicate your time in Tzu Chi when he was growing up. How did you feel when you found out that he decided to join on these missions?
I think it's been a mother, but the big happiness is to see the son to help the people. And I think to teach them how to help people is the best fortune that I can give them.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming on to the show. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
In our next segment, Footprints, we introduce you to James Chen, a Tzu Chi volunteer who has traveled to at least 10 countries for disaster relief assistance. And like other volunteers who are on these goodwill missions, losing precious hours of sleep is a given. However, James said there are too many things he has to handle that getting rest is the last thing on his mind.
Nepal was the first country I visited. Due to the flood disaster in 1993, after a survey, Tzu Chi decided to build a Da'ai village in there. For that reason, I went there. International disaster relief is difficult. We have to get to the disaster area and come back quickly to complete the assessment. If we decide to distribute the relief aid, we need to know how to get the volunteers and goods there. We have to do all this in one day. This was when we went to Haiti with Brother Huang in 2008. These photos are from China, 94 to 97. I gave out goods for the flood relief in Hunan province. This photo was in northern Thailand. The 3-year relief plan was done while I was there. This was our office in South Africa in 1997. If Master Chung Yun wants something done, we do it. The important thing is that we go there to help them now. See the disaster victims smiling, receiving relief aid. It really makes us feel happy. Many things change. I'm a lot older now than in those photos, but our compassionate hearts won't. If we have an opportunity, we'll do our best. As long as I can, I will help. You can't get tired of doing something you like.
Natural disasters are so expensive that the United Nations Disaster Risk Reduction Agency recently reported that for 2011, the damage from natural disaster cost the US taxpayers over $50 billion. I'm Ginger Chang. Thank you, and I'll see you next week.